Hey guys, this is Miss Specht. I know I'm breaking protocol here and actually showing you guys what I look like, not because I didn't want to, but just because it didn't work out that way with the other podcasts I've done. But I wanted to give you guys some direction on how to do the shape assignment. At this point, you should have already read the textbook entry on shape. What is shape in an artwork? How is shape created? As well as the different terminology that goes along with it. Specifically, I want to make sure that you are familiar and understand the difference between positive shape and negative shape before you launch into this assignment. It's a pretty easy assignment, and especially once you see some of the examples that I have for you, it's going to make a lot of sense, and it's going to be pretty easy to complete. You can complete this assignment from wherever is most comfortable or most doable for you. I brought you today for this podcast to one of my favorite places to complete this assignment, which is the park, a public park. The reason I like to use the public park is because there's a mixture of architectural elements, buildings and tables and trash cans and things like that, as well as natural elements, and both of those will help you complete this assignment. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be spelling out either your name or the name of someone that's important to you, a child's name or your significant other's name. It's totally up to you. You can either do your first name, your last name, your middle name. It doesn't matter, just as long as whatever name you choose has at least 5 letters in it. If your name is Sue, S-U-E, I'd like for you to choose your last name or someone else's name that has more letters than that, because that'll be kind of easy to do. So at least 5 letters, can be your name or someone else's name. You're going to walk around your house, your backyard, your neighborhood, a local park, the mall, wherever it is that you wanted to complete this assignment. And you're going to try to find the letters in that name. But I don't want the letter to already exist. I want you to find that shape within another shape. It might make a little bit more sense once I walk you guys around the park. So stay tuned. I'll walk you around and show you exactly what I mean. As you're looking for the positive and the negative shapes that will create the letters that you're looking for, remember that you have to look at both the positive shapes, which are the actual main objects, as well as negative shapes. For example, I'm looking here at a creek over at Chambers Park in Lufkin. I may be looking for an O, and if you zoom down here to underneath the bridge, you've got the perfect shape of an O right down here. You might have to zoom in a little bit to capture it, but rather than looking at the positive space, which is the stonework that's around the tunnel, what you're actually capturing as far as the shape that you need is the negative space, the negative shape that's created by the actual void space of the tunnel underneath the bridge. So that's what I mean by looking for the shapes where they don't actually exist. Now a zero or an O is a pretty easy shape to get. As you walk around, you're going to find other shapes that at first may not appear to you, but as you look a little bit closer, they may become more apparent. Over here at the bridge, this is a cool piece to look at and to find shapes in, because there are so many straight lines, and with natural elements like trees and plants and leaves and things like that, it may be hard to find those really straight lines that you need for the shape that you want. For example, if you're looking for the letter N, right here, the lines that are created by the vertical rails as well as the crossbar that goes between those first 2 vertical rails creates a pretty definite capital N. If you're just looking at the bridge as a whole, you may not get that shape. That's why you really have to zoom in and look for the positive and the negative space and crop in to create the shapes that you're looking for and those letters that you're looking for. Let's keep walking and see what else we can find. Finding the shapes that you're looking for to spell out the name may require you to look at the object from a different angle, maybe to even move around it. Here's a good example right over here. We've got a park bench, which, looking at it head on, doesn't really have much shape to it. It doesn't look like any of the letters that you might be looking for in your name, but if you move over to the side and kind of crouch down until you're looking at it from the side, that could easily pass as an uppercase J, a capital letter J, if there's a letter J in your name. So it may require you to move around it a little bit. Once again, you're going to have to look at it from different angles. The last time I did this activity with students, a lot of students had a hard time finding the letter R, and this is ultimately what I told them to look at. Looking at this from this side, that looks like a lowercase r. Your name may end up being a mixture of uppercase and lowercase, and that's fine. Also consider that just as there are many different fonts in the world, there are many different ways or many different shapes that a letter can take on. Here's a good example of an object. I'm going to have to back up a lot to really be able to see this one. This particular object, from this angle, could be a lowercase n, as in Nancy, or if you were to turn that picture upside down, you'd have an uppercase U. When it comes to finding shapes and natural elements, always remember to not only look at eye level, but also to look up and to look down. In my travels here today, I happened to look down and find this piece of root that is sticking up out of the ground, and once again, that makes the perfect shape of a lowercase r. It even has that little part, which is called an ascender, on the top of it to really look like one of the fonts you find on the computer. Looking up into the trees, especially the really broad, ornate trees, you may find even different shapes. You may find an uppercase L, you may find an R, you may find an S. You never know what you're going to find when you actually start looking around and thinking about the shapes that you see, both positive and negative shapes, when you really observe the objects that are around you. Stay tuned for a slideshow of some other objects or examples of student work from previous classes to help you really solidify your understanding of this assignment so that you can go off and do it on your own. Good luck!